What's up, y'all? Exodus One, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranking. Want y'all to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, cash app in the description. Everything's at the top of my YouTube channel. With that being said, let's show on the road. Uh, the last I had to pop out the last video and come in this video, so we're not gonna start with the music and all that this time. We're about to hop right into it. First video we're doing O'Shea Duke Jackson, and they're talking about a problem with the Michael Jackson movie. So let's see what it's causing.
Between the years of 1984 and 19 was large in life. He was known in America. He was known all over because he grew up as a child prodigy. He didn't get a lot of chance to have privacy or even to meet a lot of personal friends. And it just happened senior. Now, Dominic Castillo Sr. and Michael Jackson would become somewhat of buddies. And believe it or not, Michael Jackson was drawn to this particular family, the Castillo family, because they were just so normal. And because of that normalcy, he actually went to the house and believed.
So I wonder, is this the situation where he was at the award show and he had the little boy sitting on his lap? I wonder, is this instance? Let's see what's going on with it though. Let's check it out, y'all.
Or not, spent the night, which is why he would have the Neverland Ranch in California, which we'll get into. To be honest, Michael Jackson did a lot for this family. He actually hired Dominic Castillo Sr. but access to the properties. I mean, Dominic went all over the world with Michael Jackson. In the early 1990s, Michael Jackson would get some of the first accusations about his brand. And this is how he started to lose a lot of support from people in society. And this was with a family by the name of the Chandlers. Now, Jordan Chandler was underage. Michael Jackson for $23 million. And that was a big hit to Michael Jackson's image.
About maybe 4 years ago. Okay. And one thing I'm very upset about is this one person has an alias named John Doe. Why don't they say his name? Is it always Michael Jackson's name in the media having to get distorted?
This is Dominic Castillo castigating the family by calling themselves John Doe. Look, why don't you come out and tell who you are? Find out who that family was. Gavin Arvizo. They tried to sue Michael Jackson for what happened in the 90s, but with the support of his good buddy Dominic Castillo, everything was all good. Remember, Dominic Castillo had a wife by the name of Connie and 4 kids. Frank, Dominic Jr., Marie Nicole, and Aldo. 2009, unfortunately, we have a bad situation occurring because Michael Jackson would die on June 25th, 2009, at the age of 50.
Wow, look at this.
In London, and his death was ruled a homicide by acute propofol intoxication.
Hey, I think they messed with my live, bro. I don't know.
His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011. That is how bad it was. So Michael Jackson's story, right? In 2009, there would be a very scathing who knew Michael Jackson. Wade Robson and James Safechuck. And again, this also did a lot of damage to the brand of Michael Jackson. But funny enough, despite how bad this documentary did to the estate of Michael Jackson, he broke some kind of rule and HBO settled out with Michael Jackson's estate. Down. But it's not all that it seems. Michael Jackson's estate wouldn't be out of the because guess who would come back looking for some money? The Castillo family. Shortly after the Neverland release documentary, the Castillo family did something that Wade Robson and James Safechuck wouldn't do. They would capitalize on the fact and say, listen, we have all of these charges against Michael Jackson. He groomed us, he raped us, the four of the kids. This is what happened. Now, this is interesting because after the Neverland release documentary, the Castillo family did something that Wade Robson and James Safechuck wouldn't do. They would capitalize on the fact and say, listen, we have all of these charges against Michael Jackson. He groomed us, he raped us, the four of the kids. This is what happened. Now, this is interesting because Dominic Castillo spent all of this time defending Michael Jackson's honor. He lived on the Neverland Ranch with Michael Jackson. And so now the same father who's benefited from Michael Jackson is now allowing his kids to come out and say, Michael Jackson is hurting me. So let me just ask you this. If you live in a certain place with your four children and your wife, and something is happening to your kids, would you not know that something's going wrong? I mean, just think about it. Either you know something is going wrong and you're just ignoring it, or nothing is going wrong. Either one is still bad parenting. But if A is correct, meaning that your kids were being mistreated by Michael Jackson in that way, and yet you did nothing about it, that makes you less of a man. But then you're going out and saying, well, we didn't know, or the kids are saying, we didn't know that he was basically brainwashing us and doing this until we got older. And this is something that many of the people who sued Michael Jackson's estate, they use that, particular same thing. It wasn't until I got older until I realized what he was doing to me.
Stop the cap.
And then we
Stop the cap right now.
To April 24th, 2026. This is when Antoine releases the biopic called Michael. And, well,
critics are calling it extraordinarily sanitized. The performances are getting praised, the songs are recreated almost perfectly, but everything that makes Michael complicated, they cut. And there's a reason that they cut it. Antoine Fuqua was making a full career biopic. It was $155 million. Everyone had said that Jafar Jackson's performance as his uncle was uncanny, but mid-production, the estate's lawyers caught something in an old contract. The contract in the 1993 settlement with the Chan family, the family of Michael's first accuser, has a clause in it that prohibits the portrayal of their family in any Michael Jackson film ever. The scenes covering the 1993 allegations were reportedly cut, and they had to reshoot for 22 days, making the budget climb to over $200 million. The family settled reportedly for around $23 million. No criminal charges were filed. Michael denied the allegations his entire life. That's the family that the movie can't legally portray, and that's why it ends in 1987.
So there are certain things in the movie that obviously is not going to be out there. Now, this is important because the movie has done over $200 million in box office sales, and it really has painted, from what I understand, Michael Jackson in a very good light. The life of Michael Jackson ended in 2009, but before this, this same Castillo family is suing Michael Jackson in. Now, it's important to know.
Hey there. Welcome to the U.S. Aviation Academy and the Conroe location. Come take a look at our campus.
That secretly in 2020, they got about $14 million, all right? They have been getting paid that from the state for a long time. Now, this doesn't mean that Michael Jackson was guilty of any of this. It just was better to keep it under wraps because they had leverage, and it would have looked bad for former people, insiders who knew Michael Jackson, to then come out and say that this abuse happened. So they paid each of the four siblings $2.8 million over 5 years. In exchange, the Castillo signed a non-disclosure agreement and promised not to sue or to speak publicly. But then that didn't happen. In January 2026, they appeared in a Beverly Hills courtroom in court and sued for abuse. They were trying to stop private arbitration. They were trying to say that this dispute behind closed doors was actually hush money and illegal, and now they wanted a public trial. And so that happened officially on February 27, 2026, when four of the siblings filed a massive federal lawsuit in Los Angeles. And
when I was retained by the Castillo family, video, I ended up with 10 hours of testimony detailing the horrific abuse they suffered at the hands of Michael Jackson. At the invitation of Marty Singer, the lawyer for the estate, I showed him an hour of that video, and his response was, this
mentally, and even said that the fact that you are saying these things is very hurtful in a real way because it just does not exist.
The one strike against Jocelyn is the fact that she's saying this while trying to get Lemmy to pay her, while they're in a dispute. And because they're in a dispute, like the allegations are less credible than they would be if you just came out one day and say, you know what, I gotta change of heart and I'm gonna expose them. But I wouldn't say they're completely unincredible because these allegations have resurfaced in the past, So y'all let me know in the comment section who do you guys believe, who do you guys trust here.
Calzone. I've got creamy ricotta on a large rectangular sheet of pizza dough here, and we're going to create a nice little pool right here in the center of our dough. Barbecue sauce is going to go inside that ricotta board. Ricotta goes inside every calzone in Italy, and now we've got some mozzarella balls, and now I've got
Hey, if you can see me pressing one, if you can see me real good in here,
12 hours in your classic dry rub. And now I've got a little chili flake that's going to go on top to really kick it up a notch. And a little bit of oregano, classic oregano, Italian spices for our Italian barbecue combination. And now I'm just going to slowly pull these bones out to extend over the edge of the dough so you can pull them out and they can stick out of the calzone and create a beautiful, beautiful garnish on the outside of your calzone. Now, using the parchment paper, we can fold the edges of this pizza dough right up around the calzone, around the ribs here, and just pull that parchment paper right off. It's super easy to do when you've got the parchment paper underneath. Look how beautiful that fold is right over the top. See, the bones are sticking out the top, so you can pull them out easily once you're done. Now we're just going to fold the parchment paper underneath and gently lift it into 350-degree oil. The parchment paper makes it super simple to just lift this right up and go safely into the oil, and you can pull it out just like that. That beautiful golden brown, nice and puffy. Plus here, see that here, I'm going to gently lift this off onto our steaming rack here. Let that steam, let the oil just strain off just for a few seconds. And now we're going to plate this. Got our board here with barbecue sauce. Top it off with some Parmesan cheese. And that Parmesan cheese is going to melt nicely right into the dough and create a nice little texture. Hit it with some chives for some green garnish. And now it's time to cut into this bad boy. Let's see what we've got on the interior here. Get a nice slice of this. Wow, look at the cheesiness in this. It's got that sweet barbecue sauce on it.
Man, I might have to send that to myself. Hold on.
Barbecue rib fried calzone. I've got creamy ricotta on a large.
That motherfucker look kind of good. That bitch look good. Yeah, y'all.